All right, today we are breaking down a complete long-term framework for how to think about saving in something as volatile as Bitcoin. We're going to cover everything from the right mindset all the way to a disciplined plan for taking profits. Let's get right into it. So let's start with a question that might sound a little crazy. We all think of the cash in our wallets, dollars, euros, as money. But what if that's only half the story? What if that cash is actually designed for one thing, spending, and is actually terrible for saving? And that leads us right into a really crucial distinction, the difference between government-issued currency, or fiat, and what you could call true money. Honestly, understanding this is the foundation for this entire saving strategy. This slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got fiat currency. Think of it as a temporary tool, something whose buying power is literally on a timer, constantly getting eaten away by inflation. But on the right, you have assets. These are more like durable containers for value, designed to hold onto your wealth or even grow it, precisely because they're scarce and people actually want them. The key phrase here is highly perishable. The best way to think about fiat currency is like a melting ice cube. It's fantastic for what it does in the moment. It makes transactions easy, it lubricates the whole economy, but it is a terrible, terrible way to store your value for the long haul, simply because its value is always being diluted. So if fiat is that melting ice cube, what makes for a solid container for what the source calls economic energy? Well, it really boils down to these four things. It has to be scarce, it has to be durable, you need to be able to divide it, and, maybe most importantly, people have to agree that it has value. It needs social desirability. And here's where a modern example like Bitcoin comes into the picture. It's a form of money that's secured by something you can actually verify, mathematical scarcity, and a decentralized network. That's what makes it resistant to the kind of devaluation that hits government-issued currencies. But hey, this idea is definitely not new. I mean, think about it. Tangible assets like real estate or gold have been doing this exact job for literally thousands of years. They're scarce, they're durable, and they have a super long history of holding their value against inflation. They're a reliable reserve. And to really drive this point home, just think about collectibles. We're talking rare art, vintage video games, even old Pokemon cards. Their value isn't in what you can do with them. It's all about their limited supply and the fact that people want them. This just goes to show you that true money can really be anything that holds its value because it's scarce and desirable. Okay, so we've kind of set the stage, right? We get the why you'd want to move from a perishable currency to a durable asset. Now, let's get into the practical stuff, the how. This is all about having a disciplined plan for actually building your savings. The absolute core tool here is something called dollar cost averaging, or DCA. It's a really simple but powerful idea. Instead of trying to be a genius and time the market, which, let's be honest, is nearly impossible, you just invest a fixed amount of money on a regular schedule. It's a mechanical process that takes emotion completely out of the equation and helps average out your purchase price over time. And here's what that routine looks like in 4 easy steps. Number 1, and this is the most important one, only invest an amount you are genuinely okay with losing. Step 2, set a regular schedule, maybe weekly, maybe monthly. 3, automate the whole thing so you don't even have to think about it. And 4, for that long-term security, it's worth learning about self-custody so you have full control over your assets. So, does this mean you have to be throwing huge amounts of money at it? Not at all. The source gives this great example. Say your goal is to save $1,000 in a year. That just breaks down to $19.23 a week. It really shows how a small, consistent, and totally manageable commitment can build up into something pretty significant over time. All right, now for what is without a doubt the hardest part. Anybody can buy an asset, but knowing when to sell, that's what separates a real strategy from just gambling. And this is where we have to replace our emotions with a data-driven, kind of algorithmic way of thinking about taking profits. This slide just hits the nail on the head. When prices are shooting to the moon and everybody is absolutely euphoric, it is psychologically so difficult to sell. Greed is whispering in your ear, it's gonna go higher, and the fear of missing out can just paralyze you. A predefined plan is your defense against that exact emotional trap. So, our first tool for this is the MVRVZ score. The easiest way to think about this is as a market altitude meter. It basically tells you how high you are. When this score gets really high, it's a clear, non-emotional signal that the market is deep in euphoria and is probably way overvalued. Okay, So if MVRV is the altitude meter telling you how high you are, then the spent output profit ratio, or SOPR, is like the immediate thermometer. It shows you, in real time, what's happening on the ground. When you see sharp, sustained spikes here, it's a dead giveaway that a lot of people are taking massive profits at that exact moment. So, here's how you put them together. It's a simple two-signal system. Step 1, MVRV enters the red zone. That puts you on high alert. You mentally switch from a buying mode to a selling mode. Step 2, you just wait. You wait for SOPR to spike, confirming that yes, widespread selling is happening now. That's your trigger. Step 3, you execute your plan selling a portion you already decided on. No gut feelings, just a clear system. And that right there brings us to the complete picture, a full end-to-end savings lifecycle. We've gone from understanding the very nature of money to a disciplined plan for buying, all the way to an algorithmic strategy for taking profits, the whole shebang. This quote from the source material just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy, doesn't it? The goal isn't just to pile up more of that melting ice cube, fiat currency. It's to control scarce, durable assets that can actually store economic energy over time. And that's really the big takeaway from all of this. What you're left with isn't some hot tip or a price prediction, it's a coherent process. It transforms saving from an emotional roller coaster and a guessing game into a disciplined, transparent framework that you can actually go out and execute from start to finish. So, let's end by coming right back to where we started. After looking at this whole life cycle, the question you have to ask yourself is a really simple one. Right now, is your saving strategy like holding a handful of ice cubes that are just constantly melting away, or is it like placing your value in a secure, durable vault for the future?